In this video, I want to talk about how you can find a mentor and how by finding a mentor, it will completely change your life. So I'll kick things off with a story. When I was growing up, and maybe you feel the same way, I was constantly hearing, you need to find a mentor. You need, whether it's your father figure or an uncle or someone who takes you under your wing, kind of like the Good Will Hunting story with Matt Damon and Robin Williams. This therapist, Robin Williams, he takes Matt Damon's character under his wing as someone who can mentor him and lead him towards where he needs to be. Because Matt Damon's character is a simple orphan who's lost, and he's extremely brilliant. He's extremely gifted mentally and has a whiz of a brain, but he has no family, no direction. He's working a menial job as a janitor at MIT, and he just, needs that kick in the ass, sort of say, to get people to, or to get him to actually take some action. So there's just countless examples of how a mentor has completely changed the trajectory of someone's life. Another good example is, from the movie Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith, and how he had this mentor that brought him to the San Francisco 49ers game, and he was a managing director at the firm that he was trying to work at, and then he ultimately gets a job there. But time and time again, in all of stories and Disney stories, if you just look back at all the movies that you love and the books that you love, you'll realize that the main character doesn't do it all on their own. They have a guide, they have a mentor, they have a coach, they have someone who can give them the blueprint that they've once walked Jesus, and it will all kind of happen. Take the biblical side of things. Like Jesus' mentor was God. Jesus is God in flesh, but he prayed to God. He was hearing from God on what to do next throughout his journey on earth. So I grappled with this for years, because I didn't feel like I had a mentor for the longest time. And I knew that the mentor was my missing link to be everything I wanted to be, and for me to succeed in whatever way I wanted to. So when I was in high school, I got involved in some Christian organizations, and I got involved in some clubs and sports and whatnot. And I was around leaders and what you could call mentors, and they definitely helped me to some degree. I don't want to totally, shun them out, but for whatever reason, I felt like I needed more of that one-on-one connection. Maybe you've been in a group with other people and you've noticed that the guide or the leader kind of leans more towards a few kids and not you, and you want that attention, right? We all do. We all want that core undivided attention from somebody, but you don't always get it. So when I got out of high school and I got to college, I was really honed in on finding this mentor. And one of the first things I want to mention about how to find a mentor is I think you need to truly want one. You need to tell the universe, your God, your higher power, whatever it is, you need to exuberate in energy that you want a mentor, because I'm sure you've heard of the classic line, the teacher will appear when the student is ready. And even in the stories when it might seem like the teacher pops out of nowhere, like in Good Will Hunting, I think at the deep down level, the student is ready, or the student is willing to open up their heart to someone else, even if it might take a couple sessions or a handful of sessions, like it does for Matt Damon's character, as he's trying to open up his feelings because he's just never had done that before. But I think that's the first piece. On how to find a mentor, you need to be willing to accept a mentor that comes into your life. And maybe you could take a minute here, watching this video, and think, who has entered my life? Maybe there have been guides that have entered your life. Maybe someone offered to, show you the ropes in something, or take you out to coffee or buy you lunch or something, just to kind of, share some wisdom with you, and you were unwilling to accept that. Now that's your fault. You need to take accountability that you weren't ready to hear out that knowledge. So that's number one on how to find a mentor. You need to be ready to accept one and be willing to have one. So when I got to college, I was gung-ho on that. I was like, I'm ready for a mentor. A couple weeks went into school, and I came to realize I needed to make my mark at this school, or I need to get involved in something that I could sink my teeth into. And if I didn't, then boy, I would be smoking weed or drinking and just doing God knows what, like not being productive. So I took a trip down to the basketball arena 2 weeks into school after math 110 class. I remember like it was yesterday. It was a math for business class. And I take this trip down to the bottom of campus and I'm walking around the whole arena. It's funny when I tell this story because it was such a pivotal moment in my journey, but looking back on it, it was an off day. There was no one at the arena. It was closed off. All the lights were off. So as I normally seem to do as a curious individual, I snooped out the whole building. I literally top down, 3 levels. I'm willing to share it, but I went to the bathroom on the 3rd deck in the presidential suite. But why not, right? 18 years old, freshman on campus. Checked out the suites, checked out the whole views. The arena was right next to the football field, so you can see the basketball court and you can see the football field from like one standing location on the one side of the building. And I was in awe, to be completely honest. I mean, first, true time away from family and friends, going to college, big endeavor as any 18-year-old might experience. And I'm scoping out this place and I'm just thinking, man, like I love sports, I love basketball, I want to be in this gym all the time. Like that just kept coming up for me. And I kept walking around this arena to ultimately find someone that was working there so I could speak with to see if there's any opportunities on how I might be able to get involved. But it was obviously an off day, no one was there. But until I got to the bottom floor, and I literally found, like this was out of a movie. It was like one light on in this room. And it was a management office, said it on the door, which, perfect, right? Great person to reach out to, a management department to get involved. And there was no one at the front desk. It was so quiet that you could drop a pin and, you would hear it, right? But there was a diner bell, like one of those classic metal bells on the table, and I rang that like I was looking for a chicken Caesar wrap at the diner. And this woman pops out from behind the wall, super startled, because she's like, why are you here? This is an off day. Like, I wasn't expecting to see anybody. Nevertheless, hearing the bell ring, right? Like, normally I guess you would, holler a bit and someone would come out, but for me, I decided to ring the bell. So she pops out, she's like, startled, asking me what I need or why I'm ringing the bell, why am I here? And I'm this young, again, 18-year-old kid with my eyes wide open, just experienced an amazing arena at college, and I was just like, this is so cool. And she, I said, hey, sorry to bother you, but I'm a freshman here, I'm 18 years old, and I need to get involved in somewhere. I need to be a part of, ideally the basketball team would be awesome. I love basketball, I need a position, I need to get paid. I just need to be involved in something because I knew I needed community. Long story short, that led to an interview, led to a position that I held for 4 years as the student manager of the basketball team. And Coach Dan Hurley became that mentor for me. But I think the lesson there is my ability to seek out the mentor, my ability to put myself in the right positions and not sit on my butt and just hope for someone to come to me, right? Like you need to, one, want the mentor, but you also need to seek them out to some degree. And from there, my experience with Coach and the experience we had on the basketball team that extended for 6 total years was nothing short of a dream. Truly. I've talked about this in other videos and other pieces of content, so maybe this is something you've heard before, maybe it's new to you, but 2 championship rings, a framed jersey, an amazing experience, multiple miles traveled by plane, and experiences on charter, private planes. I can't put into words how incredible that experience was. So that's a bit of the story of kind of how I found my first mentor. But I want to outline 3 ways on how you could find your next mentor or your first mentor. And I have ways on how you could do it for no money. I have ways on how you could do it for cheap. And then I have a way on how you could do it for maybe a little bit more money. So the first one is pay with your time. And if you're young, all you have is time. And most of the time, the people that you want to be mentored by have no time, but they have a lot of money. So you can give your time to be around somebody. If you're, really interested in somebody's work or what they do, maybe you're an artist or a writer, or maybe you want to be a basketball coach, kind of like the route I took. You want to find the people who are doing what you want to be doing, that are 3, 5, 10, 15 years down the road that you can be a sponge to. You know, I used to say that all the time, that I'm a sponge for Coach Hurley. Like, he was this ocean that I was able to dive into and be able to consume all that he had learned throughout his journey, so I could learn it in a far less amount of time at a younger age. So that would be the first thing. Go find someone that you can give free work to and time to learn from them, and ask for nothing in return. What you're getting in return is the wisdom, is the time a day with them, and you'll be amazed. Some of the hardest reaching people will give you time, and they will give you energy if you're willing to be resilient and reliable and put the hard work forward. So there's multiple stories on how I've had that experience. Like I had an experience with a man named David McCourt, who is a telecommunications entrepreneur. He's a billionaire. And I worked for him for free during my business, actually, during my creation of my business. This was after basketball. And I worked for free for, 3 months, but I just wanted to be close to him. I just wanted to be around him, and it was amazing. It built a great relationship. So if you have no money, that would be the first step, I would say, the second step after declaring that you want a mentor, to go give time and effort towards someone that you want to learn from. The second is what I did more than most people, and took it a little bit too seriously, is you could buy books. Now, people ask me, like, who are your mentors? Who do you listen to? And I'm like, I'm not in my home office right now, as maybe you've seen before, but I just like kind of point behind me, or I point them to my home library, and I'm like, I got about 600 mentors right here. You could pull one off the shelf and you can learn from them. A book, whether it was 1900 or 2025 or beyond, whenever you're watching this video, a book, I still believe, is one of the greatest investments any human can ever make. They range from anywhere from $10 to $20. They take about 5 or 6 hours to consume. And you can get someone's whole life's work in 300, 400 pages. I mean, where else could you get that dose of dense information and experience in that short amount of time? And if you're like, in 3 to 4 hours, that's such a long time, like, dude, then you have the wrong mindset. You got to break that belief first and foremost. I know we're in this age of TikToks and shorts and Instagram Reels where there's quick amount of information, but to sit with someone's life's work, whether it's someone who wrote a biography about someone or someone who wrote a memoir about their own life, and spend 300 and 400 pages with them, it is a priceless experience. And you can get all the answers that you're looking for. And you can get the answers to specific questions you're having, but most importantly, and this is why I read, is you can read between the lines and learn about how they've combated adversity. So like one of a great idol or entrepreneurial idol that I love is Richard Branson. He has multiple memoirs. He's got, his first one is Losing My Virginity, and then he's got another one called Finding My Virginity. And you can read through his words the challenges that he faced and how he never gave up and how failure wasn't an option, or about how giving up wasn't an option. And it just is so contagious to read that and learn that, and you will apply that to your own life if you consume enough of it. But again, I think there's this power, and again, I mean, for me, it's God. For you, it might be a higher power or universe or whatever you really believe in, even if you're an atheist or whatever you are. I truly believe that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So if the student is declaring with their words, vocal first, that they want a mentor, that they want to learn, or they want to succeed, and then they're taking steps to getting involved in programs or groups or helping someone for free, and then they're buying $15 books to read about someone's journey and trying to consume, like taking all those action steps are 100% going to help you move that needle forward of getting to the outcome you want. You can't quantify that, you can't really put it into words. Obviously, as you hear me explaining it, it's not the easiest, but I will go to my grave and stand by that the universe can feel you being primed for the success you want, and you need to show it. You need to give those efforts and show that you are the person who should deserve those results. It's the classic story of like when someone who doesn't deserve to win the lottery wins the lottery, and then they blow it all, and actually they end up in a worse situation because they spent way more beyond their means and bought properties or cars and whatnot that are going to cost more money in the long run when all the money's dried up. I think that's like a brutal situation for most people. It's because they weren't primed to earn that money. They weren't primed to withstand that money and manage the money and hold it and even grow it. They didn't have the skill set, the knowledge, the mentor. Yet they still got that that win, which is awesome. I still applaud them, right? But it's just pure luck. And if anything, it's actually like, if you want to look at it in a certain way, it's dumb luck or it's bad luck, because it's going to screw them over in the long run. You see this with athletes too, which is tough as well. Which I think is another importance of, like, you could have a great talent level or skill level in one discipline. Like, you might be great at basketball and get a $20 million advance as a top 5 draft pick, or whatever the numbers might be, but you don't have the right team around you or the right mentors around you to advise you on how to spend that money or protect that money. I've seen it happen firsthand with people that I know. So those are 3 points we've outlined so far, and I got one more for you. One, you need to declare the belief and the announcement to the world that you are willing to accept a mentor and you're ready for it and you want what you want. You want to be clear on what you want first and foremost. You want to build out the path yourself, and then you're going to get mentors that are going to help you along the way to chip away and hit different milestones to move along. But you want to be somewhat clear on where you're at today and where you want to go. And then announce that you're looking for a mentor, and when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Number 2 is, if you have no money but a lot of time, go work for free for someone. And you could do this in tandem with the next point that I mentioned, but you really, I think this is such a crucial part. You should be humble enough to give someone your time and work for free. I did it for 4 freaking years in basketball. 4 years I did it. I spent so much time in that basketball arena, and I would never trade a single second for all that time I did, because it paid off more than I could ever imagine. And then the third part there is buy books. Buy $10 to $20 books. I have a whole Instagram page that you can consume called Unleash the Knowledge that I've been building for 5 years that shares book insights, and I think there's a lot of value in there. But I, even as the creator of that page who helps people find insights from a book in bite-sized formats, is saying go buy the whole book. Go read the whole dang book. Spend time in the text, read between the lines, really see how the person is making decisions based on the experiences that they're having. When shit hits the fan, how are they reacting? When a friend disobeys them or is disobedient towards them, how are they reacting? Like, these are crucial parts that you want to read about. And if you don't know any top books that you want to be reading, like, just to get started, you could read anything you want, really, that you can just search on Amazon. But like, one example would be like Walter Isaacson's biographies. Like, he's got the Steve Jobs one, the Benjamin Franklin, Leonardo da Vinci. Walter Isaacson is an incredible biography writer, and he's done countless levels of research to dive into someone's life. Like Steve Jobs, you can read a book for 400 pages or something and learn Steve Jobs' whole life. Like, I can't even grasp how valuable that is. I'm sure maybe you can't either, but right? The man is dead, unfortunately. He did amazing work when he was on this earth. He didn't even live very long. I think he died in his 50s, unfortunately, to cancer. So he lived 20, 30 some years less than the average human in today's age. Yet he accomplished so much, and this book has all of it for us to consume, and we're not reading it. You got to be asking yourself, why? Why are you not reading that? Now, that's just one example. You might not be able to be into technology or even starting a business. You might just be, wanting to, create pottery for the rest of your life. But I'm sure there's someone amazing who has created pottery that you envy or look up to or idolize or whatever, and you can go find a book on them. So that's the next point. Buy books, $10 to $20, greatest investment you could ever make. The third part is you can pay people. You can invest in their coaching, their consulting, their mentorship. You can literally, once you have income and once you have a sizable amount of money, you can literally pay to expedite the mentorship process in a couple ways. You can pay to get into the right rooms with them. You can pay to go to a dinner. You can pay to go to a mastermind. I've done this plenty of times once I started making money. And if it's not clear already, I did the work for free, as I mentioned, and buying the books for 5 years. So I didn't get to paying people some large sums of money till down the road, after I learned so much from mentors and took action on all the first 2 components, buying books and working for free, to having a sizable income where I can then reinvest more back to myself and expedite the process. This is what the wealthiest of the wealthy people do. They get into the right rooms with people that level them up and push them beyond their means. So that's the last part. Go pay the person that you really want to learn from. Say you're trying to build an e-com business of some sort. Someone's built $1 million e-com business before. I mean, plenty of people have done it. People have built 10 million, 100 million, etc. I mean, $1 billion e-commerce businesses. I mean, $1 trillion. Amazon is an e-commerce business. At the end of the day, it's a marketplace, and it sells products offline. So it's e-commerce in its name: electric commerce, digital currency. It's transacting products and service and money on a day-to-day basis. $1 trillion business. Now, what does it cost to go learn from Jeff Bezos? I don't know. Probably a ton of money, or maybe not even available. But you can go to hear him speak. You can go pay it for a ticket in an auditorium and hear him speak. These are ways where you can put your hard-earned money to work to go be mentored by people. So that's how I believe you can find a mentor. And I think it will change your life. It's changed my life. It's changed so many people's lives that I've personally mentored and that I've been in communities with that have paid or done those other steps to be mentored. So if you're at any age, I mean, this is not a video for the high school or a college kid, that I once was and that I was wishing there was a video like this for. This is for the 30, 40, 50, 6-year-old. I mean, I've met multi-million dollar earners that are 50 and 60 years old that are still lost on what their purpose is. They don't have much focus. They still have lack of clarity on what they're doing. So this is applicable to anybody. And I don't think, like, you might have a mentor and then that season might end. That's fine. Like, that's kind of happened with me and Coach Hurley. I mean, we're obviously not in the same room as we once were, or as often as we once were, but he still is someone that I can reach out to from afar. But at the end of the day, I think you're going to continually find new mentors as you grow. And you should be constantly seeking them out. And everything I listed in this video, wanting a mentor, reading books, working for free, paying people, like, I don't think any of those components should ever stop. I mean, maybe the working for free can slow down once you start earning some money because you can just expedite the process, but I don't think you should ever stop asking the universe, praying to God, putting out into the good world that you want more, that you want a mentor, that you want to succeed. I don't think you should ever stop reading books. By no means should you ever stop reading books. I believe the day you start dying is the day you stop learning. And then lastly, I think there should be a drive to earn more solely to reinvest back into yourself and your business. Alex Hormozy has a great quote that he's like, the best return is not putting your money into the S&P 500, which is typical financial advice, but putting it into the S&P meat, putting your money back into yourself, into your brain, into your knowledge, into your activities, getting in front of the right people. And this is coming from a guy who built a multi-six-figure business online, who loves working on Zoom and computers and being in co-working spaces or my home office. But when I go to an in-person event, I can 100% always assure you that that small amount of time, whether it's 1 day, 3 days, and in the grand scheme of, in relation to the grand scheme of time that I've probably spent on my computer, those times in person with the right people has always expedited my growth, has built incredible relationships that I'm still in touch with, and has allowed me to grow my business and grow myself tremendously. So, hope this video finds you at the right time, and I hope it helps you. And if you're on this journey for finding a new mentor or your first mentor, I hope these 4 main things that I outlined in this video can help you move the needle forward. But till then, we'll talk to you soon.